Welcome to Patched In with Patch Bay. I'm Patch Bay, and we're here with Sam from Music Hack, co-founder.
Yeah.
All the things. Okay, so for people that don't know you, I'm super excited because we're gonna get to know you a little bit better today. I met you at NAMM.
Yeah.
One of the biggest music conventions. So many cool things that you're doing and so many like facets. But before we get into anything, for people that don't know, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah, where are you from?
I grew up in the Bay Area.
You grew up in the Bay Area?
Like East Bay.
Okay.
So you start in San Francisco and you go east and you end up in like Oakland, Berkeley, and then you keep going east under the hills. And there's this little tri-city area called La Marinda, which is
Okay.
like three different cities, Lafayette, Moraga, and Orinda. And I grew up kind of mixed into those cities.
Right over there. Okay.
Yeah.
So for just like an elevator pitch for someone who doesn't know you, what do you do? What does Sam do? It's hard.
I run Music Hack.
There you go. You run
I do,
Music
but
Hack.
I write the code and I talk to try to educate other developers, like help other developers out, get started. Like just this morning, I was on the phone with some guy who's working on like an AMP Sim plugin and wanted to know something. So I hopped on and helped him out, right? I love doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess I also like doing interviews like this and talking to people about audio because I love audio.
I could tell. You sent me something.
And food.
And if you and food, we'll get into that. You sent me something. When did you do that talk?
That was in November
At
last year.
ADC?
Yeah, ADC. So it's the Audio
ADC.
Developer Conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think because we met at NAMM and I was like, wow, Sam's got a great personality. He's so much fun. He's so kind. And then I started playing a thing. I was like, oh, he's a real nerd. Like in a good way. Like that's like,
Yeah.
you've studied and
Bonafide.
you've gotten into the nitty gritty of the science of sound, which is so cool. How did you get interested in all that?
Oh, man. I've been kind of at that intersection of like sound and computers since I was like a really little kid.
Okay.
I started on piano, I think with this is crazy, but like the Little Mermaid songbook. Which
I had that.
Yeah.
I did. That was a
crazy.
big book. That was
Also,
a big book to have.
Yeah, it was
Had
not
Hannon,
a typical
the
choice.
scales, and then yeah.
And
Okay.
then I learned piano for a long time, and then like I like to play my own music on the piano. I hated reading the music. I hated reading the
Me
music.
too. Sorry.
I went all through this whole, and this is like, I'm old. So this is like old times, like computers with DOS. I didn't even have Windows.
Okay.
They had a sequencer called Voyetra in DOS.
Okay.
You couldn't, I don't remember if you even used your mouse, but I was sequencing like a Beatles album to see like Oobla Dee Oobla, to see if I could do it. Like
What?
all this stuff, Sound Blaster cards and these things. And then, I don't know. And then eventually ended up going to school for music.
Okay.
Because I loved it. But really what I found out, because we were talking beforehand, I started doing like some stuff in sessions like engineering and I did a bit of production and stuff. But I found out what I really was good at was making the tools that people used to make music.
Right.
And so that's when I really came into my own and was like, this is what I can really do to be part of this. And so then I just
And you just got into coding.
fell all the way in. Well,
Because I was like, where did you go from like music?
Yeah.
Because there is like that side of things, and then coding is like a whole nother beast.
oh, I skipped a whole big section in the
Yeah,
middle there
okay,
where I
so,
got
yeah.
so terrified after I graduated college. I was like, I don't know what to do. I had some friends that they stuck with it, and I was like, I don't know how you guys are doing this. I'm terrified. And I learned coding in like this big gap in my life where I was like, I don't know how I'm going to fund my life.
Okay.
And so I just did it. It was totally divorced from music. And I married them together again right around COVID.
Wow.
So I'm relatively recent to connecting my coding to what I was doing with music.
Okay.
Just because I don't know why. It's so obvious in retrospect, like so many things. I was keeping like one over here and one over there. And then finally they like,
But
they
that's
got
good
together.
sometimes because you get to fully develop that skill on its own first.
Exactly, yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
what were you doing before you crossed it into music? With just coding?
Oh man, the most boring.
Tell me.
the part of coding that even coders hate to do. I worked for a company that made testing software.
Oh, okay.
So like if you yourself were a coder and you still are, in a sense, you still get to be a creative. You're conjuring stuff up from nothing. Like that's cool. But then like the boring part of that is like, does it do what my boss said it needs to do?
Yes.
And like testing is your way of being like, yes, boss, it does what it's supposed to do. And I made tools that help people do that, but
Okay.
at like a level where they were writing software for like airplanes and pacemakers and stuff where like, not like a website where like it's cool and everyone uses it.
It has to be accurate.
Yeah, someone's going to die.
Yes,
if this goes wrong.
If this goes
right?
wrong.
Like, and so they have all of
the
these
seriousness. Okay.
Exactly. They can't just release a piece of software. They have to prove to some government agencies that like it's all working. And so I helped write tools that made that people could use to test and report things to be like, yes, damn it, you can put that on an airplane and it won't probably crash.
99.99%. We can give you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like it's not fun, but it's very interesting, and it gives you a deep respect for the craft because you're like, wow, this goes
and a high
crazy.
level of expertise, and then you took that and you brought it into music.
Yes, but
that.
also. I developed a distaste for over testing, so I probably could test a little more. But I really do. I do care that our products perform really well, so I do test it. But it's one of those things where it's just like, oh man, I just need to step away from this for a minute. Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like the people will tell you, right? The people, the best testers, I feel like the people using your product. Okay. I want to bring up a couple quotes, my favorite quotes from your talk. But I really like, with no notes in front of me, how impressive. But I really like how you said that after you go on all of these, like this person has done a lot of research and tested stuff. They said this person has done a lot of research stuff and looked at the same data, came up with a completely separate, Yeah. So what we're landing on is that all of these metrics and numbers and things that you've learned how to measure and probably spent an extensive amount of time. What was your conclusion again?
Numbers. You have to listen to your music. That's my conclusion.
Right.
I think that as computers get more powerful and we do crazier things with graphic interfaces, like metering numbers and like committees and all these things start to crop up, those things are never going to tell you whether your music's good. And you got to just listen to it and get some other people to listen to it without looking at those things.
Right.
I mean, there's been a recent controversy, right, with Bob Horn on Help Me Devon had this whole thing about the Pro Tools meters changing. Okay. And then he made some comment about how the different modes of the meters are changing. And then like Dan Warhol has a video and Whitesey has a video and all these people have a video and everyone has all these opinions, but like it's when you start looking at something, you might stop listening to something. I have no idea. I've never tried the thing that Bob's talking about, but it opened up a whole conversation around him. Right. Where now he's sitting in the middle like, what did I do?
I love that. And I mean, one thing that I love that you said that I feel like was just such a great example and like a way for artists to think of things when they're listening to their own mixes or learning how to mix or just getting bombarded by like, what are plugins and like all these things. Yeah. You mentioned that the guy winning the loudness war has never tried to be louder. He was never aiming to be louder.
That's what he says.
That's what he says. Yeah. That you quoted him. And so
he was at that conference at ADC.
Really?
He was giving a talk at the same time as me, so he didn't see my talk, but I stopped him beforehand. I said, I'm going to use this quote from you. Does it still represent the way that you feel? Oh, that was because I didn't want to misrepresent him. And it's a topic that he knows much more like viscerally than me because he's mixed more albums than me. At the end of the day, I'm more of a tool maker that I work with Stan, my other co-founder, who's like, he's the day-to-day mixing guy. So like, I'm like, all right, I'm about to quote you. I better be right by you. It's Andrew Sheps is the guy's name. Yeah.
Andrew Sheps. Yes. Yeah. That's such a great quote because I think that the loudness war is a real thing because when you were like, Apple's going to be there with their hands up in the air, it's like plausible deniability, because the numbers, we got so far, and everybody go watch his talk. It's like 45 minutes of greatness, and like it's just you're going to learn so much about things you don't know yet. Potentially, if you don't know about them, it's good stuff to know. But at the end of the day, like what you're saying is that it's in your ear. Train your ear. Yeah. Train your ear for what's good. And if it makes you feel something, he said, Andrew Sheps, he was saying like, I've been going for feeling.
Yeah. It's what serves the record. If it serves the record, you do it. You don't let someone with a little meter tell you like, no.
Because you're going to do all these tweets and whatever, and then it's going to get to streaming, and then they're going to do their own thing to it.
The meter turned blue. Like, right. Exactly. And as it turns out in the talk, I have things I say where like, as it turns out, if your mixes are louder, they're actually more robust against the problems that happen with streaming because all the people that came up with these rules, they're for broadcasters and they have certain technical reasons, and then that message gets lost. But there's another way of saying kind of the thing that you talked about, and that's Alex, who's also with us at Music Hack. She's one of the partners. She always told me she got annoyed at this phrase, which is like numbers don't lie. But the thing is, numbers don't say anything. You construct a story around numbers. That's a message. And that lies all the time. You can use numbers to lie constantly. So numbers do lie because you're not ever looking at raw numbers. You're looking at a story or listening to a story someone's telling you using numbers. And it's about the story that person's trying to tell. I'm not saying everyone's a liar, but I'm saying anyone could lie. And so the numbers aren't enough. You got to listen, and you got to apply your ear, and then that's what's going to tell you what's good.
Right.
So,
The ear and the feeling, I feel like, are the two things that come together to justify, or like to really, and it's all opinion too. It's perception, perspective, and people are going to like different things anyways. So
True.
how do you live in this world knowing that? It's like, I feel like you almost know too much now to be doing what, and how do you go back to like, now I'm, running this plugin company, and like it's based on working with numbers and metrics, and I'm doing all of this stuff. Where does it cross over?
That's really hard, actually, because there's so many times, like a person like me who's very engineer inclined, and when I say engineer, I don't just mean math or computer science. It's like, I feel like a lot of audio engineers are this way too. Just like anybody who spends their time in the details and like occasionally has to apply some specific rules to things, kind of gets this mindset. We're like, you like to be right about things or like know a thing.
Right.
And then you see someone who's doing it wrong, like, because you have some knowledge, like you said, but you have to let go. Like, and that was very freeing, but now I'm in this weird position where like, I see someone who clearly has talent and they're doing something right in that it sounds really cool or good, but they're describing what's happening totally wrongly. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want someone to get the wrong message from what's going on. But then like, what do? Like, you don't want to disrespect someone who's like a true great creative, and you don't want to make them feel like you don't what they're doing, but also you don't want them to mislead a bunch of people that look up to them by telling them to focus on the wrong thing. Man, I mean, and this is the same in cooking too. Like, there was this whole thing about like sealing in the juices when you sear stuff. And that was never scientifically true, but like what they were doing worked for some totally other reason. But like, what do you even do? Like, I don't know. It drives me a little bit
crazy? A little bit crazy. Okay. I was
All
wondering.
I care is like, as long as it's in service of the record or the music, then you're doing the right thing. Like, it doesn't matter anything, nothing else really matters.
I was thinking, because you're running a plugin company, so there's so many, there's things involved. Like, I think it's almost like you're giving the most amount of tools and the most flexibility to the creative, to whoever's coming up with whatever they're coming up with. They have the choice to use it how they want to use it. Have you ever just seen someone just like completely not use it how it's supposed to be used, and you're just like,
at NAMM, I had a couple of moments like that. Yeah, then, but I think that my challenge, or at least our challenge,
and then this is part of letting it go part.
Yeah, A, you got to let it go, and B, if it's really bad, like if what they're doing is like never going to sound good because you're like, oh, you just know. Well, no, you know what? You never know. You never know. It's every time. But if they think they're doing one thing, it's doing another, it might be my fault to begin with because I designed the thing in a way that makes them feel like that's what they should do, right? Like if I make a hammer where everyone is grabbing the hitting end with their hand and hitting with the other side, I probably designed the hammer wrong. If I go about trying to blame the person using the tool, well, like to a certain point.
It's shared fault.
It's shared fault, yeah. But if 6 out of 10 people do it, I design the hammer. If 6 out of 10
people do it, then you might have to look at the hammer.
Maybe I'd be like, you're going to hurt yourself. But like, like someone will always grab the blade. But like, it's hard because you don't want to see them use it wrong, but also, is it my fault? But also, is it wrong? Like,
but can you even control it? Like, will it even... so I wouldn't even stress out about it at that point because they're always going to, I mean, people wear shoes on their hands if they want to. So they're always going to do.
Wait, what?
I was saying people wear shoes on their hands if they want to.
Brush their teeth with their hands.
No, they brush their teeth.
Oh my God, that's never going to work.
I'm sure some people do.
Don't ever do that.
Don't try this with your kids. No. But it's just you can't control what the people are going to do. You can only give them the tools. So I feel that's what I really took away from your talk that I really appreciated the most was one, you are so knowledgeable and you know all of these like so many things that I had no idea what I was looking at. And I've been to school for production and engineering. But you were talking about like the nitty gritty of audio science. And I was like, I just want to understand all of these words. But coming from there and then being like, wow, he's really researched the research.
Yeah.
And then coming to the conclusion that, hey, it's feeling.
Yeah.
For me, as an artist / like everything that I do in the studio, that's such a, like, it's a relief and a breath of fresh air.
Good.
Because it can get really overwhelming. And I'm sure the same way I get overwhelmed by cooking, and I can't wait to talk to you about next, is I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what's going on in the kitchen. I don't know what to do with the spices. I don't know where to start. But having the idea that maybe I can just go in there on feeling and be like, you know what? I like Parmesan. We're gonna do something with Parmesan tonight, you know?
That's right.
Like you just go on a feeling and there's hope. There's hope for us, yo. It's not all about the numbers. Don't hyperfixate on all of the YouTube videos. Just learn what's good, learn the personalities, learn the people that you like trust, you know, have ears around you that you can trust. But that's super cool. So all of that to segue into, we kept talking about your like tidbits of cooking. When did you start cooking? When did this become like a serious thing?
A little bit later than the music, actually.
Okay.
But like not much. That time when I was like playing with the little DOS sequencer I was talking about, DOS is like pre-Windows. That was when I started cooking. I grew up, my parents were divorced, so I grew up and it was just, most of the time it was me, my mom, and my brother. And so my mom would go to the city to work, and she would come back and be like tired, and cooking was my way of taking care of them.
Okay.
Because then she had a break. You know, like normally it's like the kid will do the dishes after the dinner, and but like if I did the other thing, then she had a break in between or whatever. So I remember feeling that way about it. But also it's like, I mean, food is love. So is music, but food is definitely love. Like, you know, you share something that you make with the people you love. And it's different than music, though, because, like, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like live music, where you've given people that gift. But, like, it just, even when you watch it back, it's never the same.
It's never the same.
And I feel like that's why I love cooking. But there's a lot of things in similar. Like, you can follow a recipe or not. You can take the different ingredients and like things that mix together right and put them together. And then you try to change one little thing. And then certain things, you just can't make them go together right. And then...
Or sometimes for me, you try to substitute one thing with something else and it turns out that like ruins it completely.
Yeah.
Even though the internet says you can substitute.
No. Yeah, you can.
I mean, it's just not going to end up the same.
What's your worst substitution disaster? Are you willing to share?
Eggs for bananas. Bananas for eggs.
Bananas for eggs.
Bananas for eggs and pancakes.
Yeah, that doesn't... Should have gone with the applesauce.
See, I didn't...
Yeah.
You get chunky things. But hey, banana pancakes. But they're happy accident, you know?
Yeah, that's
I should have thrown some walnuts in there and just called it a day.
Exactly. Like, the texture's wrong, but it tastes great.
The other thing, I think, I don't know what I did, but it was a year of Santa's cookies that they went in solid to the oven and they came out liquefied. And I don't know what I did. Like, they slid off the pan.
You defied physics.
I defied physics.
You defied physics.
I have burnt a smoothie at some point.
Oh, wow.
I'm known for starting fires in microwaves.
How does that even happen?
I don't actually know. You could throw one of my eggs across the room, like a sunny side up egg across the room. It'll be fully intact. I am skilled, and it's actually
interesting.
Yes, like the opposite. Like I'm very, very good at bad cooking.
You could do like you've seen those shreds videos?
No.
Where they'll play some video of a musician, but they'll replace it with really, really, really horrible amateurish audio that's super bad. You could do shreds for cooking.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly.
That doesn't even make any sense, though. I'm not even quite sure how to. Or whatever.
But at the same time, I think that the way that there might be hope for me in the kitchen, if I just actually go with the feeling and what I like to eat, rather than just like following recipe and then being like, oh. You know?
Yeah.
But there's
you gotta do the same thing over and over again. It's just like music. Where you're just like, oh, I'm bad at this, but I found something I like, and then you focus on it and get it better and better and better and better, and now that's nailed, and you can move on to the next part, and then you begin to develop your own vocabulary, and then your food's good.
Right. Yeah. But there is a part of like learning the rules so that you can break them.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I have to learn the rules first. So I was gonna say, besides like the cooking side of you and the music side of you,
Yeah.
you talk about animals a lot.
Oh, I love my dog.
Tell me.
Oh, my dog is she's so cute. So her name's Zaytun.
Okay.
Which is Armenian for olive.
Okay.
But I think that word is shared among a few different cultures. I think it also is in Farsi, and then also like aceituna, like in Spanish, like that probably comes from the same root or sound for olive, because she's like a little black dog. She's a mix of like 4 or 5 different breeds. But we adopted her mom during COVID. We couldn't figure out how to get a dog, and then one of our friends was a vet, and he was like,
Oh.
this lady brought this dog in. She just adopted the dog, and then the dog gave birth 2 weeks later, and she's like, I don't know what to do with this. And so he's like, I'm just a vet, and I don't really know what to do. We're like, we don't know what to do with these puppies. Like, will you guys foster this dog, and then we'll help you adopt out the puppies. They didn't help us adopt out. We had to do that ourselves. But
I'm fostering my bunny.
But we were in a 1-bedroom apartment during COVID. This was also the time when I switched to doing
I was
music
gonna say,
programming. So
yes.
I was raising puppies and learning DSP. So, and we fostered this dog and her 5 puppies. We named them all after food. So there was Zaytun, was an olive. There was matzah, baba ganoush, falafel. And then the last one was... the last one wasn't named after a food. The last one was named Anchorman because he had what looked like an anchor of white fur. He was all black with scraggly fur, and he had like what looked like an anchor of fur.
Oh, wow.
But we learned how to raise puppies in a situation most people don't have, because you're not allowed to get a puppy until they're like 8 weeks old. So we had this vet who was coaching us through raising this whole litter of puppies. And that changed. I already loved the animals, but that totally just changed everything like even more. So it was wild.
You learned about like the new life in that way.
They couldn't see. You'd hold them in your hand. They were like this big. Like you didn't touch them at first. For the first 2 weeks, you don't touch them. So you couldn't hold them in your hand.
Yeah.
But you had to start weighing them to make sure that nothing is wrong with them. And there are these moments where like, they're these like very fragile creatures that are fitting in the palm of your hand. And their mom is like, trusts you because you've been there and you've been feeding her, because she's taking care of the puppies the first 2 weeks.
Right.
But then you gotta take this puppy away. Only for like 10 seconds. We had a bowl on a scale. Like we had warmed the bowl up. We're just like, put the puppy in the bowl. Take the puppy out of the bowl. Put him in the bowl. Okay, we had a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, is the puppy eating enough? Is it getting sick? Like you have to treat it for worm. Like all this crazy stuff you learn.
Wow.
And then like the mom is like, what are you doing with my puppy? You know what I mean?
I'm sure.
Anyway, I could go on for this forever, but like at a certain age, they start to grow teeth. And so then the mom gets uncomfortable when they're starting to feed. And so then she'll start to run away and be like, you guys are bugging me. Like, and then you got to start feeding.
Okay.
So you have like a muffin tin with soaked kibble, and then they start to eat. And then, then you got to clean up after them and like all this stuff. And just like, it just changes.
Oh.
It changes.
You were a whole dad.
No, I was never more than like... I was never more than like 15% dad.
Oh my god!
But they all have their own distinct personalities. Like it's crazy.
Oh my gosh!
Love them.
So that like ignited more love for animals.
More love for animals. Yeah.
Now, are you trying to have more animals in your life?
I don't know.
Can you?
My baby is music hack right now.
I was gonna say
it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
We were talking about testing earlier. Like to try, like even when someone reports something, they'll be like. I had somebody report a bug in a host I'd never heard of before today called DSP Quattro. And it's a Mac-only program that was made originally for like mastering audio CDs, like Redbook stuff. So it's probably been around for a while. But I'd never even seen this thing. So I'm like, all right, well, let's find out what's going wrong here. But like, there's always something that you're like, nothing's perfect, So.
I was going to ask, did you have any mentors along the way, like within the coding and the music and the plugins, all of that?
Yeah, there's that
How
saying. How
important was that for what you're doing now?
Yeah, there's that saying, I apologize because it's not a gender neutral, so it was like no man is an island, so no person is an island. So I had when I worked before the testing company, I worked for a different company that made compilers, which are the things that turn the code that you write as a human being, that is some words in it that make sense, into raw machine code. And these are the people that wrote the program that does that. So like heavy engineers. And I still know him. He lives in Santa Barbara. Still, I visit him. And his name was Guy. And he...
I love you guys with named Guy.
Sat next to me. Yeah. He sat next to me, and I was a tech writer. I was writing the manuals for the compilers. I wasn't coding. And he saw that I had the right kind of mind, and he encouraged me to learn how to code. And he was younger than me and like all this stuff, but like he was just very positive about it.
Yeah.
So we would go on a run, then he would like teach me how to code and like all this stuff. And it's because of him that I got where I am in terms of really pushing through the initial barrier of, can I do this?
Okay.
I think having someone that tells you,
he was like, you can do this.
You can do this.
Yeah, you can do this. Let me show you.
Big. Yeah.
That's so helpful. It's just having someone to be like, you can do this. Let me show you.
Yeah.
As a piano teacher, I also hated reading music. And I was forced to play like Beethoven, Chopin, Mendelssohn, Bach, all of the things, like when I was 7 years old. So like as a dyslexic child, trying to do, all I wanted was exactly what happened in Drumline. I was like, if you could just show me how to do it one time, I will play the shit out of it for you. Like I will do exactly what you do. And she was like, no, I'm not gonna play it. You need to read it. But there's so many different forms of mentorship. I appreciate that she made me read the music because now I can read music to an extent. Obviously, if you don't practice, you start getting worse at it. But,
I completely forgot.
You know, it's good to have a basic general knowledge of what's happening within the scale. But to come back to the feeling and just to have somebody there to show you how to do it and not just like fend for yourself. Because I don't know what kind of like there are probably people, but I know it'd be probably for me way harder to just go out there and start coding. Like that's just where do you even start? But someone just going for a jog and taking it piece by piece after that, and with somebody that genuinely, this is the most important part, is that it has to be with someone who genuinely cares, I feel like, about your well-being and your success.
Yes.
Because if they don't, the advice is not 100% all the time. You can't really count on their feedback, and them following through with you kind of leads to maybe you not following through sometimes. So.
I think that's an incredibly important point, especially in music, though. I don't know as much as, I haven't gone through as much as some people because of the path I took, ended up more towards tool ends than other ends, but like, making sure that your mentor is looking after you as a person and not just your growth in some career that may benefit them or like whatever is a real tricky road to navigate, because there's a lot of people that like put themselves in front of doors, or they look like they're in the right place or like whatever. And like, sometimes you do have to interact with those people or like do some things for those people in order to like get where you need to go. But like what I'm talking about is what you're talking about, which is like someone who wants you to grow. Mm-hmm. And the skill is just the way through which you're doing it, and they care about you as a person. That's hard to find. That was who this guy was for me. Wow. So anyway, and he's still, hey guy. I'm going to ask you to watch this video. You're not going to watch it.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's a very like...
He'll watch it because he has to get to this part at least whenever we talk about him.
I'll edit it. I'll put it up and I'll be like, just watch this Instagram reel.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Guy. You've made it so far.
Yeah.
You know, and just having a mentor. And I think that the other side of that is to get a mentor that really cares about your well-being is you had to provide probably some sort of value at the beginning in one way or another.
I laughed at his dad jokes.
Really?
Yeah.
No. So a lot of times it is just getting along and companionship. Companionship is huge because there's not a lot. You can't trust everyone. There's not a lot of people you can trust. So when you do find someone you get along with, if you really genuinely want to help them, that's a good wave to ride, I feel like. Yeah. But if you're looking for someone, I feel like for me, when I was kind of looking for mentors and I just moved out to LA, I was thinking like, how can I provide the most value that's not conventionally what everyone else is trying to do?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to get the coffee. I would ask like, what do you not want to do in the sessions? Can I like clean up the fades for you? Or can I whatever? And then I would get invited to more things. And then they'd be like, I like when she's here. What do you do? So like, I think that just being open and willing to be genuine to someone that you want to mentor you is just as important as them caring about you.
Yeah.
You know?
I couldn't agree more. That is good.
That's so cool that you had this relationship and you still have it now. Is there anyone else that's like mentored you along the way?
Just all sorts of different ways. I was in, I don't know, like, it's hard because I know that if I list people off, I'll just forget some people. Yeah. Because there's a lot. Like,
then you say like, you know who you are.
All the people
that help me out, you know who you are.
You know who you are. If you met me in the studio, if you were nice to me when other people were stressing me out, if you brought me back time after time, you know who you are, and thank you. there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. Like, again, you don't do everything alone. There are a lot of parts of what you do that you do alone, and it's good to feel proud about those things. But like, never forget the people that were kind of there.
Yeah. Through the mistakes, the ups and the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what was one of your biggest, I guess, like, hurdles you had to overcome in this whole music plugin?
Oh, in the
world?
plugin world?
Plugin world.
Existing. I think that's the thing. Like, you can make something great, and I think that a lot of your audience that's musicians or like this or artists or producers or whatever, you could be really, really good at what you do, and no one's gonna care. And like, you have to make them care, and it's so frustrating. And somehow it has to not get to you, and you have to just keep persisting. And you never know what is going to change that. And I've talked to other friends that have started businesses, and it's always been something different where people started recognizing what it was that their thing is that is good. Guy ended up quitting his job and starting a business, and for him, it was something he did on Reddit. For us, it was, I think, the guys at Helmy Devon were game to kind of do an interview at some point, and I think that's when we first broke out and people noticed that we existed. But like, just kind of going through this period where you've done a thing that is great, and you know you're not crazy because you have enough people telling you like,
this is good,
I can use this, right? And this is good. But like, it's just not doing anything. And you're just like, oh no, like what do I have to do? Like, do I have to be a cynic and do I throw a bunch of money into ads? Do I do what I'm doing here? I don't know. But you just have to keep trying and keep going. And like, eventually we got to the point where, okay, some people know who we are. Let's thank them and try to do right by them and keep doing that.
Yeah.
I think that was a hurdle. It's the existential feelings of like, can I even do this? That's the really, really hard thing. Yeah, I think everybody who's done something great has probably felt this way about it at some point in time. And there are a lot of you who've done great things and you still feel that way right now. It won't last forever if you keep at it.
Right.
I think, unless you're a jerk to people. And then it will last forever because you're a jerk to people.
Because you're a jerk to people.
And everyone will turn their back on you because you're a jerk. But that's it. Yeah.
We warned you, okay?
Yeah,
Stop being a jerk. Stop.
But that's the hard thing is you're frustrated because you want people to notice what you're doing. It's hard, especially today, to get people's attention. And you're going to be frustrated, but you can't be a jerk about it.
It sounds like the life of an independent musician in today's world, too.
Yep, same thing.
It's like you pour your heart and soul into a project. You give it everything you've got. You put all of the expertise and everything you learn into this thing. And then they're like, all right, can you act? Film, and can you do skits? Can you get in your car? Can you also edit? Can you put the captions on there? And then no one's gonna see it unless you ad spend.
Oh man,
it's just so many things. But I think that today's day and age, there's gonna be a level of acceptance that we all have to get to, that we made something cool and we want people to know about it. So like, we're responsible for the making it shiny part.
Yeah.
So I think that you're doing a really good job, though, of taking interviews and just being around and like showcasing your personality, because you are so much fun and you are like a really cool person to know.
Hey, thank you. No,
before the plugin thing, after meeting you and Alex, I was like, I just want to hang out with them, man. Like, they're just cool people. Like, it's just really cool. And then he was like, oh yeah, and he does this and this. And I was like, let's talk to him about all this stuff. Like, I want to know more. But letting people know your personality and your heart and where you're coming from, I feel like is the most you could do for the plugin company. And even telling them things like you did on the talk, like, hey guys, like, yes, it's all metrics, yes, it's all numbers, but you could run yourself into the ground looking at this stuff, and it's about feeling. So you use the tools we're giving you and feel it.
Yes.
And feel it and recognize what is good about what you're doing, you know, and continue doing that with the emotion. Okay, so what does the future look like for Sam? Like, give me like the next like 5 years.
5 years?
No,
wow.
Just kidding, just
man.
kidding. What is the next 5 years?
Hold on, let me just get the whole business plan.
What about some goals?
I'm just going to break the seal on that. So we love making plugins, like Stan and I, that they they bring that feeling right to your fingertips, right? Because we do have to tweak. We turn knobs and we hear what they sound like. That's what you do when you're using a plugin. You turn knobs and listen to what they sound like, right? So I want to keep making plugins where every knob you turn, you can tell what it's doing right away. You don't have to read an instruction manual if you don't want to. You don't have to go into a bunch of theory. It's just doing a thing and you're like, oh, I know what that's doing. So that you can focus on just like being creative.
User friendliness.
Exactly.
Yes.
But also it's about expression, because if you make something that's too hard to approach or that requires you to have a bunch of knowledge, there are good things about that. Sometimes you do have to make a technical tool when you do need to do a technical task. But sometimes you can eliminate that work and get people to focus on just, I need to express myself through this thing. Oh, it does that, it does that, it does that. Great. Now I know what to do. Where I put this on. We're going to keep making tools like that. And we have a couple other directions that we kind of want to nudge, but I can't talk about it yet. Can't talk about it yet. The main thing we want to do is keep making tools in that lane and keep making like just bangers that'll show up in your channel strip template. Just like stuff that you just want to load because you're like, I know I can get my work done with this. Or I know that this isn't going to get in my way when I'm just trying to make something, right?
I'm confident. I'm confident if you're going about it with the sense of feeling and giving people the access to the tools and all of that. I feel like that's such a great mindset to have when you're doing what you're doing. So I can't wait. I'm super excited for all of that to come out. Okay, I have a secret question.
Okay,
I'm going to ask not from me, but about Lauren's question. So this might be completely inappropriate to ask, and you can totally say no. But my friend loves Music Hack, and he loves Fuel.
Okay.
And
Oh, there's a big butt here.
He has a question. He has a question. This is from my friend.
Okay, cool.
Not from me. He says, does Music Hack ever plan on including gain reduction meters for the Fuel's clipping and compression to see when clipping and compression is being applied and how much of each effect? So
we took a strong stance on this when we developed the plugin to not do that.
Okay.
I never say never.
Okay.
But I think that those meters get people focusing on what stuff looks like instead of what it sounds like.
Right.
So right now we're not planning on doing that.
Okay.
There have been other people that have asked us also on our Discord.
Really?
This question.
Really? I wonder if it's the same guy. It's probably the same guy.
I understand that people want those things, but and maybe I'm just crazy, but I've asked several people how they use those meters, in that, like, how have you used that meter in order to change decision about what you were doing? I was literally just watching a video today of somebody showing me how to use a thing, and then they turned a knob, and then they said, do you see what that's doing to the sound? And the answer is, no, motherfucker, I don't see it. Don't look at what it's doing to the sound.
Cover your eyes, bro. Cover your eyes.
Listen. And what he was talking about was how like a waveform will look, flat once you've limited it. But like, if they had that in like unity gain mode and just did bypass on and off, I bet you they wouldn't even be able to hear the difference. But they were telling you how much it destroyed the audio.
Right.
And what is a clipping meter going to tell you? It'll tell you when it clips and how much it clips. Do you know what actually matters? Can you hear the clipping?
Can you hear the clipping?
Can you hear the clipping, and do you like what it sounds like?
I love that I watched the whole thing and didn't scan through it, because I get it. I get it now. Our team, yes, I get it.
It might clip 40 times a second, and you might not be able to hear it, but it might clip 50 times a second, or 20 times a second, and you can.
And you can hear it.
It could be a relationship between the frequencies and how often. It could be the type of material it's clipping on. It could be whatever. And you're not going to get it from the meter. And for the gain reduction meter, it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, okay, when you're taught to use a compressor, you're taught like, look at those VU meters and like, you want them to be dancing. Because when it's dancing, it's doing the work. Right? Okay, that's cool. But like, what kind of work are we doing here? You could be doing an RComp type thing where you just want to clean up those hits so that you can mix it better, but you could be wanting to add character, and those meters aren't going to tell you. Like, if you can't hear the character, well, then you haven't added character, have you?
That's exactly it.
And then if what you're trying to do is clean up the peaks, then maybe. But the way that we design our compressor, like it's supposed to be very transparent, and so like if you just turn it up, it is controlling the peaks. Like you can just look at the peak meter, and that'll tell you the answer.
Okay.
Anyway,
I like it. I like it.
I'm not going to say never, but I'm going to say why I did what we did.
Yeah. Long story short, no for now.
Yeah, no for now.
No for now.
No for now.
No for now. And then
Thank you for the question, though, and I'm so happy that you enjoy the plugin. And if you, what's the name of this person?
His name is Lauren.
Lauren, if you get caught in a mixed pickle where you're like, I can't do the thing I want to do because I don't have the meter to do it, like write me up a little email, or like talk to Patch and like get in touch with me and talk to me about it. I'll buy you lunch and like we'll sit down and I'll be like, okay, I'd see now what I have not seen before.
Oh, he might have some things to say.
Oh no.
He also
I won't buy you lunch.
He has more.
I'll get you a Coke. Oh no, more. Is he watching right now?
No, he's not watching.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Here we go.
So lastly.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is less of a question and more of a request. He said.
Requestions. Yeah.
Also, it would be great for them to separate the widening to its own designated knob on the GUI instead of applying a width effect behind the hood of what's currently within the thick knob.
I can get down with that.
Yeah.
I'm looking for ways to do that, and the issue with
changes.
that. Yeah. We've talked with a couple people, Chris Sellum from Mix Down Online, and a couple other people have brought this up. So I sort of agree with that, because I do think, like, let's say you're doing drums, like you can, that width will screw up your snare, but you might want the mid-range saturation.
Right.
So the difficulty with that is more like, well, there's two things. One, you have to make sure you don't, once you've released a plugin, if you change the sound chain, like you could piss off way more people than you please. So you gotta be very careful. So there's that. And the second thing is, it's just really involved, because now I got to talk to the graphic artist and I got to redo all of the skins and all that stuff. So that's why, even if I decide to do this, which I might do, it's going to take longer than I want it to, because I got to go through multiple people and do all these revisions. And then, like, can you imagine, like, you get the new background and like they use, 3D rendering software. Like, I could talk forever. Sorry.
No, I did. I start making my own plugin at one point, and obviously not to that extent, but I was like doing the design part of it and like hooking the functions up to the knobs and like the picture in the back. It's not easy. It takes a long time.
And when you got these guys and they're using these 3D rendering software, right?
Yeah.
They might take a picture of it from like just an ever so slightly different angle by mistake, and then they like give you all the new faceplates, and you're like, great, they all look fine, but they actually, like, nothing lines up now. And then you like go back and forth with them like 5 or 6 times because they didn't save the exact position they were in, and then you got to move all the controls. So it's just one of these things where it's just like,
is it worth the trouble?
No, it is.
It is worth the trouble?
It is worth the trouble.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if I decide to do it, it might take way longer than either you or I want. And believe me, if I've decided to do it, I don't want it to take a long time either. I just want to be like artist, and the artist doesn't either. The artist just wants to hit a button and be done with it, right? Like, them, they already did all the fun part of their job. Right? They're basically doing testing at that point.
Is there anything that we haven't like discussed that maybe you want to showcase or talk about? Because
I don't know.
I feel like I've been ripping into all of the things. I know about your childhood. I know about all the things. I know about your dog.
You're the first one to ask about my dog and my childhood.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been getting to know people. I told you, we're going to get to know you.
I don't know. I just, I guess I've just gone over these talks about saturation and loudness with developers to get them to understand what they're really doing for people, other than just technically. I'm really proud of Fuel. I think that's just the bee's knees. It's great. It's super fun to play with. But I think we've covered kind of what Music Hack's about, what I'm about. Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here. I'm Patch Faye. We're with Sam from Music Hack, and this has been Patched In with Patch Faye.
1 week later.
Welcome back, guys. This is part 2. We had so much fun, and I had the pleasure of getting to know Sam a little bit better, but as soon as he left the interview, I felt like we didn't talk enough about Fuel, and I feel like you guys needed to know a little bit more about Fuel because there's just so many cool things about it. It is his baby. I'm gonna pass this over to you. Maybe just give us a couple pointers on it, and then I have a couple things that I want to slide in there too.
Cool.
I like this pink patch mic.
Oh, it's nice. It reminds me of the Trolls. I want to comb it.
Yeah.
There's a little fro pick in it. I used to have hair like that. Fuel is our like energy channel strip, right? So we made it because there's a bunch of different tools that producers and mixers are using all the time, and we wanted to put them all in one place and take away kind of the controls that aren't as commonly used as the other ones. Because most of the time it's like, we know the kind of sound you're trying to get, let's just help you get there. And we put them all in one spot, so anything you need to push that sound through a mix, you can get it. So that's everything from bass, it's like saturation, limiting, clipping, but all the different flavors in one spot.
And compressing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and compressing.
And compressing.
Yeah. So master plans are like clean, loud enhancer, and Fuel's more of our like dirty, loud enhancer, but it can do the clean thing too if you want. Yeah.
I love it. So what I was going to say that I noticed about a lot of the research I was doing on Fuel was that a lot of people were using it not only for the fact that it's a multi-purpose tool and you can save so much CPU by just being able to add one plugin that takes care of so much in such a like clean, professional way. Like it's very user-friendly and it sounds good, but a lot of people are using it for the tone and the color it gives without having done anything to it yet. You can throw a mix on there and you're gonna hear a little bit of something back the same way you would hear whenever you run something through an analog console. You can get a little bit of warmth and a little bit of color through this plugin, which is really cool. It has a very unique characteristic, its own character, its own sound. It doesn't exactly sound the same as analog, and I like that you said that you weren't essentially trying to, or you weren't really trying to replicate or emulate, but you guys have created your own sound. Yeah.
That's a big part. We want Fuel to immediately, as soon as you put it on a track and turn it on, make it so you can feel that the sound is different in a way that you like, the way that it would if you put it through some piece of legendary analog gear that you really love. But we're not trying to emulate an existing piece of analog gear. We're just trying to give that same kind of feeling and do that same kind of thing. Like you wouldn't buy yourself an 1176 or a Neve or API channel strip and put the thing through it and be like, it sounds different. I better not use this ever. You know what I mean? So we want that feeling, but in a plugin also. Yeah.
Right.
So I think we're going to be doing this with all of our plugins. Master Plan is like this too, but Fuel has it also. Yeah.
I love that. And then what I was going to say also about the effect that it gives without even having to do much, and just by putting it on there, it speaks to the workflow I witnessed a lot when. In these major studios with the big consoles, you would be able to just bring in your mix at the end, and sometimes people would book just an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, like just to get things ran through the console. And today's day and age, a lot of this, and I'm going to be controversial here, and people are going to light me up in the comments, but not everyone has access to that kind of gear. Depending on where you live, not everyone's in Los Angeles or Nashville or New York, and a lot more of these bedroom producers are figuring out how to have competitive sound. And I feel like this is one of the tools that's going to actually push that narrative, and it's actually going to help a lot of people just reach, I guess, a sound and a quality that isn't always accessible, especially because a lot of the computers that we're using, and it's harder to run so many programs and plugins when on a basic laptop. You have to have like the souped up laptop. You got to have like dropped a lot on it. So for these people that are just starting, I feel like it's a great plugin to just get your hands on and just start experimenting with, because there's so much to gain and there's so many different ways to play with it and use it, utilize it. And hopefully we'll get a stick a little insert here with Sam showing us a little bit of the tips and tricks on how to use it. Are there any things that you want to kind of showcase about the plugin that we may not have covered?
No, I think we should just go on over and give it a shot, and then we'll discover what those things are as we're looking through it.
Let's do it.
Sometimes off the top of my head, I need a minute to like get my hands on. And then
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
One of the things about Fuel that I think is really cool that people haven't really gotten into a whole bunch is that the compressor is totally unique. It's built off of the same kind of technology that the limiter is built off of, which gives it instantaneous attack and release times that are frequency dependent, meaning it neither pumps nor breaks up until you really overdo it, making it super transparent. So try replacing your workhorse transparent compressor with it. I don't know what it is you may use. You might use RVox, RComp, CL1B, like something that you're not using in order to impart some special character, but just to do the job of controlling the volume. Try this compressor, compare it to your workhorse, and see if this doesn't beat it. Eli over there just asked me what the difference, like what Smooth and Master Plan does, and is the compressor in here any different? And they are. Smooth in Master Plan is a more typical compressor. It's built with a more normal, what's called the ballistics section, which is the attack and the release. And it behaves in a more normal way. But Stan has very specific things that he does when he's just trying to do a very gentle compression. So he has all these things that he dials in, but then he limits the compressor to only do at most some number of decibels. And the Smooth control in Master Plan, the reason it's so subtle is all that's keyed into his specifications for his mastering chain. So it's very subtle and does just a touch. Whereas this one can just go a lot crazier and has different dial-ins and a totally different idea of what ballistics even means. So, yeah.
Where does the pink in the music hat come from?
The pink. You know what it comes from? It comes from an ad. It comes from a Kim Kardashian ad campaign that Stan saw on Instagram, and he saw blue and pink, baby blue and like a dusty rose pink, and he's like, I like the way this ad looks. And we did a bunch of weird looking, awful stuff after that for a while, and then when we finally found a logo that we settled on, it was black and this dusty pink, but we kind of made it a vintage washed out black. And we just liked it. We didn't see pink in audio brands very often. And so we're like, well, why not? Yeah. That's why in NAMM we have a big pink booth.
Yes,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It matches the mic. You match the mic.
Oh my gosh, so nice. I got more pink.
It's great.
I got my socks are pink.
My brand colors are pink and baby blue. I'm wearing pink and a baseball jersey, half baby blue.
Totally.
In Tokyo. So
completely get it. Yeah.
It's a partnership.
You know, we're missing a pink skin, aren't we?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, it sounds like we should do this, yeah.
Sorry.
All right, I'll talk to our graphic artist. Let's see. All right, cool. All right.
Okay, cool.
Like really hear it if you're like over there or you know, if we're in the background, but like just hitting the bypass, just like you said, it just changes the whole character of the track, comes out more, and it doesn't fuck with it. It just gives it that thing that it's missing. I don't know what else to say, you know?
Like, when you were first playing it and then you bypassed it, it was like, whoa, it's like so dead now. And
yeah, exactly. We wanted to bring it to life, but it's like, you know how doctors, they have to swear by what's called the Hippocratic Oath, right? It's like, at first, do no harm.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. You open it up, like, at first, do no harm. I think fuel, of course, I mean, you could, all you had to do is move that crunch knob all the way up and you've done a lot of harm unless you intended to. But like, you know, that kind of just feeling you get when you open the plugin, that's the one where it's like, it's not gonna harm your track. It's just gonna change the character of it in a way where you're like, ooh. Yeah. You know, it's like when you realize that what you were eating was missing a little bit of salt and you just put it on.
And it brings everything out.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
I was gonna say, as a synesthetic person, my weird take on this is I feel like it gives it more juice and like it's a little juicier. Is that weird to say? And I feel like the flavorfulness of it. It's not only that it's not seasoning. It's just elevating and enriching and bringing out the flavors of things and the colors itself. The colors are like harmonious, but also like bigger and brighter without feeling fuzzy. I don't know if I have any other like synesthetic people out there that are like, I get it now. But like for you guys, that's how I feel about it. But yeah, that's amazing.
Yes. Okay. So if I play this this loop, it's Sunshine by some artist B&A. It's probably not their full name. I gotta go get that from Stan. The peak levels are going all the way up to 0, right? And fuel is bypassed, but I also have Unity on, so when I take the bypass off, it's gonna do level matching, so that's the same level. So for the same level with this compressor on, it sounds almost the same, but now our peaks are at 4 decibels lower. And like, that's the kind of thing. It's not trying to change the sound of the mix. It's just trying to control the peaks. So while you wouldn't do this on a full mix, if you have something that's out of control, like some analog drum beat where like they didn't fucking fix the rim shot, you know what I mean? Like, you can use this to control it without going in there and editing every single little thing. But it's meant to be totally transparent. doesn't even sound
Especially when
different.
you put it back and forth like that, it's very crazy. Like, you almost don't notice it at all.
Yeah, you almost don't notice it at all. You want to.
I feel like what I do notice, I like more. You know.
Exactly. Like this compressor, when you turn it up, if Unity's on, you should hear nothing.
Yeah.
And the whole point is, oh, if I hear nothing, but it's compressing, that's good because now I can use that audio in 100 more places that I couldn't use it before because it would have ruined my mix.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow, I love that.
clean. Yep.
So cool. Thank you so much for showing us that. I
Yeah.
love what you've been able to put into Fuel and Master Plan and everything that you're doing. We're so excited for all the things you have coming up.
Yes. Yes, I can off camera show you a couple little things too.
Oh,
which would be
okay,
neat.
okay.